At the beginning of the movie, we are shown three friends who are students at MIT University. Their names are Nick, Jonah, and Haley. Nick is handicapped because of some reason, so he can only move around with the help of crutches. Haley is Nick's girlfriend, and she is now shifting to California. Because of this, the three friends go on a long trip together. One night, while staying at a hotel, they receive a message from a person named Nomad, who is actually a hacker. Recently, he had hacked MIT University's servers, and the blame for the hacking had fallen on these three friends. They had barely managed to avoid being expelled from the university. Nomad keeps irritating them. He even hacks Haley's laptop and starts recording videos of them through it. The hacker named Nomad keeps provoking them, saying that they will never be able to catch him. The three are already angry at Nomad, so they decide that they will trace his IP address and go there to teach him a lesson. Later, they successfully trace Nomad's IP address and find out that he lives in Nevada. This makes them very excited because they think they can finally beat him up properly. So the next day, all three of them leave for that location. But now Nick feels that going after Nomad is pointless because they are not going to gain anything from it. Also, his girlfriend Haley is moving to California, and Nick wants to spend time with her. On the other hand, deep down, Nick also wants to stay away from Haley because he is handicapped, and he feels that no girl would want to spend her life with a disabled person. However, Nick was not always disabled. He used to be a completely normal person, but suddenly he got a disease called muscular dystrophy, because of which the muscles in his legs stopped working. Now he can only walk with the help of crutches. Even though he truly loves Haley, he also wants to see her happy. That is why he has been distancing himself from her for a long time. Haley asks him why he has been acting distant lately and whether he wants to break up with her. Nick tells her that he is disabled and that she will never truly be happy with him. He says she deserves someone much better, someone with whom she can live a happy life, and he does not want to take those happiness away from her. After hearing this from Nick, Haley angrily breaks the necklace that Nick had gifted her. Even though Nick does not really want to go, he still ends up traveling with Jonah and Haley to Nevada. At night, when they finally reach Nomad's location, they discover that it is an old house standing in a completely deserted area. Jonah and Nick enter the house while Haley stays behind in the car. As they search the house, they realize that nobody is there. Suddenly, they hear Haley screaming outside. When they rush out, they see that all the car doors are open and some strange thing is carrying Haley up into the air. As Nick and Jonah chase after her, a bright flash of light suddenly appears in front of their eyes, and both of them lose consciousness on the spot. When Nick wakes up, he finds himself inside a strange facility. He is sitting in a wheelchair, and all the staff around him are wearing quarantine suits. Here, Nick meets a man named Damon, who is also wearing a quarantine suit. Damon starts questioning Nick and tells him that the recent messages they received from Nomad were not sent by a hacker or even a human. According to him, those messages were sent by extraterrestrial life. In other words, an alien. Damon asks Nick why the alien specifically contacted them. Nick is completely shocked and has no idea what is happening to him, so he thinks Damon is joking and refuses to answer any of his questions. Instead, he keeps asking Damon what exactly happened to them. Damon explains that they encountered the alien and all three of them became infected. That is why they are being kept quarantined inside this research facility. At that moment, blood suddenly starts coming out of Nick's nose, and Damon sends him into another room. When Nick is finally alone in his room, he realizes something strange. Earlier, his legs were weak, but he could still walk using crutches. Now it feels as if both his legs have gone completely numb. However, he cannot actually see his legs because the staff at the facility have dressed him in patient clothes. He also notices a tattoo on his hand with the number 23541, which was never there before. Remember this number tattoo on Nick's hand, because it will become important later in the story. The room Nick is being kept in is protected by a password. Nick thinks that if he can somehow figure out the password, he might be able to escape from there. Later, another man wearing a quarantine suit comes to take Nick to a different room. While walking through the hallway, Nick carefully observes everything around him. Suddenly, he notices Haley inside one of the rooms, unconscious on a bed. He wants to meet her, but the man in the quarantine suit does not allow him to do so. After that, Nick is taken into another room, where Damon once again starts questioning him. This time, Nick tells Damon that he just wants to meet Haley once. Nick says that he will answer Damon's questions properly only if he is allowed to meet Haley, but Damon refuses and tells him that Haley cannot talk to anyone right now because she is in a coma. Hearing this makes Nick very worried. After that, Damon starts asking him strange questions again, like whether he has 10 fingers and whether he really belongs to Earth or came from another planet. Nick gets frustrated because he cannot understand why Damon is asking such simple and weird questions. Later, Damon shows him a recorded video from Nick's own camera. The footage is from the time when they went to Nomad's location. In the video, they can be seen spotting a strange entity hiding behind the trees, and Damon claims that it was an alien. After the questioning ends, Damon sends Nick back to his room once again. Now, while Nick is alone in his room, he hears Jonah's voice. Jonah tells him that he is also trapped in a similar room, and that he does not feel normal at all. He says Damon is asking him useless questions too. But suddenly, Jonah's voice cuts off completely. After this, we see Nick being taken to Damon again. This time, Nick is asked to identify the shapes and colors of objects placed on a table. Nick gets irritated by Damon's endless questions, and after correctly identifying everything, he angrily tells Damon that he wants to meet Haley no matter what. Damon finally takes him outside Haley's room and tells him to look at her only from outside. Damon says that once Haley wakes up from her coma, he will let Nick meet her. That night, Nick shares information with Jonah and tells him that they need to escape from this place. But Jonah replies that he is not in any condition to escape right now. The staff here are giving him something to drink, and because of that, he cannot even feel his hands anymore. Nick tells Jonah that he also cannot feel his legs. Later, we are shown Damon and another person performing experiments on a cow. During the experiment, something suddenly goes wrong, and all the staff members rush toward the experiment room. This gives Nick a chance to escape. He quickly tries to hide inside a washroom, but he gets caught almost immediately. Once again, he is taken to Damon. On the way there, Nick notices some strange markings on the walls. During the interrogation, he asks Damon about those symbols. Damon instead tells him to raise his hands. When Nick does so, Damon asks whether he still cannot feel his legs, but Nick ignores the question and instead asks about his friend Jonah. Damon then tells him that there is no one named Jonah in the entire facility. That night, Nick again tries to talk to Jonah from his room, but this time no response comes from the other side. After this, Nick starts drawing a map of the entire facility on his bedsheet. After observing the place for many days, he eventually memorizes almost the whole layout of the facility, including the password. The next day, when Damon and his team enter Nick's room, they are shocked to discover that he is no longer there. Damon notices that Nick has drawn the entire map of the facility on his bedsheet. Meanwhile, Nick is shown tying Haley's bed to his wheelchair and trying to escape with her. But when he reaches the exit door, he freezes and fails to enter the password. Damon's men catch him there once again. That night, Nick remembers the days when he could walk normally on his own legs. He remembers the moments he spent with Haley and the times when he used to run very fast. The next morning, when Nick wakes up, he sees Haley standing in front of his bed. She has finally come out of the coma. Nick reaches his hand toward her, but the workers stop him. During the struggle, Nick falls off the bed. When the blanket slips away from his legs, he is horrified to see that both of his real legs have been cut off and replaced with artificial prosthetic legs. Nick completely panics after seeing this. He starts screaming Damon's name and asks why his legs were cut off. Meanwhile, Damon and his assistant are secretly watching him through a one-way mirror. Nick tries to stand on his artificial legs, but at first he fails and covers them again in fear. However, after some time, he slowly learns how to stand on them properly. Then he breaks the door open and takes Haley with him to escape. Along the way, he injures several staff members and keeps moving forward. Soon, Nick comes face to face with Damon again. Damon warns him that if he leaves the facility, they will not be able to protect him outside. But Nick ignores Damon completely and escapes through a tunnel with Haley. Further ahead, the two ask an old woman for a ride. While sitting in her car, they realize that the woman is mentally unstable because she behaves very strangely. She eventually drops them near a cafe shop. Nick tells Haley to wait outside near a truck while he goes inside the shop to make a phone call. But inside, he discovers that the phone service is completely down. At that moment, he notices on the television that news about him and Haley is being broadcast. The report says that both of them have escaped from a medical research facility. Meanwhile, outside, the truck driver starts driving away with the truck while Haley is still sitting inside it. Nick immediately chases after the truck using his artificial legs, and we see that he can now run incredibly fast with his new legs. Later, Nick tells the truck driver to stop the truck, but the driver throws him out of the moving vehicle. Even after falling, Nick gets back on his feet and starts chasing the truck again to save Haley. By now, Nick also realizes that his new legs are extremely powerful. He continues running after the truck. This time, Haley grabs the truck driver's gun and points it at him, forcing him to finally stop the truck. After that, Nick and Haley leave the driver behind and continue their journey using the truck. On the other side, Damon captures the old woman and starts questioning her about Nick and Haley. During the conversation, Damon realizes that the woman has completely lost her mind, so he shoots and kills her. Meanwhile, as Nick and Haley continue driving, they suddenly notice that the road ahead just ends completely. Both of them find this very strange because it is supposed to be a main road, so they decide to head in another direction instead. At the same time, Damon captures the truck driver as well and questions him about Nick and Haley. During the interrogation, we find out that the driver was mentally unstable too. Damon kills him as well. Meanwhile, while traveling, Nick and Haley come across an abandoned house. They decide to stay there for the night. Nick tries using the phone inside the house, but once again he cannot make any calls because there is no signal. Both of them feel extremely depressed, and Haley's condition also starts getting worse. That night, while Nick and Haley are inside the house, they sense that someone else is there with them. They quickly move inside to hide, but suddenly they come face to face with their friend Jonah. Jonah looks terrified and apologizes to Nick for leaving them behind. He explains that he escaped from the facility by wearing a quarantine suit. Later that night, while Nick is helping Haley rest, he notices an implant on her back. He tells Jonah about it, and that is when Jonah finally explains the entire truth. Jonah tells Nick that experiments were performed on all of them inside the medical research facility. Just like Nick's real legs were removed and replaced with artificial prosthetic legs, Jonah's real hands were replaced with powerful prosthetic hands. Jonah says something must have been done to Haley too because she would not have gone into a coma for no reason. Jonah also reveals that he has checked every road around the area, but none of them lead anywhere. Every single road simply ends after some distance, and he has no idea why this is happening. Then Jonah explains the meaning behind the tattoo number 23541 on their hands. He says it is not just some random number, it is actually the ID number of this entire place, and according to him, they are currently inside Area 51. He figured this out because the digits 2, 3, 5, 4, and 1 add up to 15, and reversing it hints toward 51. The next morning, Jonah takes his friends and leaves the place in the truck. But soon, the military stops them near a barrier. Jonah tries to drive through, but the military jams huge pillars into the truck, trapping it so it cannot move forward or backward anymore. Jonah then steps out of the truck and takes a huge risk by entering the military's control room. There, he tries to hack into the military systems. However, because of his new prosthetic hands, he cannot even type properly. The military keeps attacking him. Suddenly, a massive explosion takes place, and Jonah is thrown outside. Nick rushes out of the truck to save his friend and tries to bring him back inside. But Jonah is badly injured now. He refuses to get into the truck and tells Nick that he will handle the military while Nick and Haley should escape. Jonah decides to sacrifice himself, but Nick does not want to leave him behind because Jonah is not just his friend, he is like a brother to him. Nick remembers the days when they were normal and always stood by each other during difficult times. He hugs Jonah tightly and, even though he does not want to, finally gets back into the truck. Then Jonah uses his powerful prosthetic hands to break apart the pillars, trapping the truck. Nick drives away while Jonah smashes the ground with incredible force using his new hands. The impact creates a massive shockwave that destroys everything around the area. With this, Jonah sacrifices himself to save his friends. After losing Jonah, both Nick and Haley cry a lot. A little further ahead, they suddenly see Damon standing in the middle of the road. Nick tries to run him over with the truck, but Damon's men shoot the truck's tires, causing it to crash. Nick and Haley are both badly injured. Haley gets injured even more severely, and she expresses her love to Nick, possibly for the last time. Soon after, a helicopter arrives and takes Haley away. Damon then approaches Nick. When Nick notices the name written on Damon's quarantine suit, he finally understands the entire truth. He realizes that the hacker named Nomad, whom they had been searching for all along, was actually Damon himself. This is because if you spell Damon backward, it becomes Nomad. Damon finally explains everything to Nick. He tells him to look at himself because he has now become far stronger than before. The prosthetic legs attached to him were built using alien technology, making him a perfect combination of human and alien technology. Damon explains that Nick's new legs are far more powerful than normal human legs. But after getting separated from Haley, Nick completely breaks down. First, he lost a friend who was like a brother to him, and now he has lost his girlfriend too. Filled with anger, Nick unleashes the full power of his prosthetic legs. This creates a massive shockwave, and then Nick starts running in the same direction where the helicopter took Haley, moving even faster than the speed of sound. And honestly, this scene from the movie gives viewers goosebumps. The moment you watch it, your body will literally shiver. Damon's men start firing at Nick to stop him, but Nick is moving even faster than bullets. While running at incredible speed, Nick suddenly crashes into an invisible wall and falls on the other side of it. When he gets back up, he realizes something shocking. He is actually in outer space. For all this time, he had been living inside a simulation. Nick is left completely speechless after seeing this. Then, when he turns around, he sees Damon standing behind him. For the first time, Damon removes his helmet in front of Nick, and we finally discover that Damon is not a human at all. He is an alien. Seeing this completely shatters Nick's mind because the hacker named Nomad, whom they had been chasing all along, was never a human. He was an alien the entire time. This is also why everyone inside the medical research center wore helmets and quarantine suits, so that the truth would stay hidden from them. The reality is that aliens had come to Earth and trapped many people through hacking. They then brought those humans onto their spaceship so they could perform experiments on them. The spaceship carrying all these humans toward the alien planet is called 23541, which is the same number tattooed on Nick's hand and on the hands of every other human inside the ship. When Nick realizes that he is not on Earth but inside an alien spaceship, he becomes so shocked that he cannot even say a single word to Damon. He simply stands there in complete disbelief. In the final scene, we are shown the alien spaceship floating in space, and on the opposite side, we see the aliens' colony. With this scene, the story finally comes to an end.